Good morning, my friends. This is Angie Stewart. We are here Sunday morning talking directly from our Facebook and YouTube of the Conscious Living Spiritist group. So, welcome. Today is October 31st. It's Halloween in the United States. So, in this afternoon, all the kids will be out on the streets doing their trick or treat. So it's a very cute holiday for the ones that have the little ones around. But today we are finalizing the celebration of the 15th anniversary of conscious living. So conscious living now is like a beautiful teenager, and we are super happy to be able to be part of it. We had wonderful lectures, and today will be our last one for this celebration. But of course, we continue with our program. And so, as always, I will do a short reading just to welcome the friends that will be arriving. Then I will introduce our speaker of today. So, let's go. So, the reading that I chose is this one here from this book, the Our Daily Bread. And we are going to read the item 140, and the title is Let Us Remember Correctly. So let's go. Remember my chains, Paul said to the Colossians. In the customary childish reflections, the believers only remember the luminous aura of the spirits formerly sanctified on earth. Many imagine they will find them easily far away from beyond the grave in order to receive precious remembrances from them. They consider the heavens as a brilliant resting place in the immensity of the cosmos. How many will only remember Paul at his glorification? Meanwhile, in this observation to the Colossians, the great apostle exhorts his friends to remember the prisons, as if to say that the disciples should not maintain their thoughts in the foresight of celestial facilities, but rather seriously reflect upon the proper work required to achieve the divine kingdom. The conquest of sublime spirituality also has its avenues, and it's indispensable to travel through them. Before fixing our sight on the brilliant crown of the faithful apostles, let us meditate on the thorns that wounded their forehead. Paul was able to achieve these culminations, but how many assaults from the whips, racks, and irony did he have to bear while adapting to the teachings of the Christ? And he scaled the mountains. Do not notice solely the superiority manifested in those to whom you consecrate admiration and respect. Do not forget to imitate them, adapting yourself to the sacrificing services to which they devote themselves in order to reach the divine end. So, very beautiful message, and it's true. We have a tendency to just think about the beautiful side, to think they are perfect and they were able to achieve so much, but we have to understand the path. The path is what takes us there, not just them, us all. We all have our path, and in the beginning it's not easy. We have to face many difficulties, but we have to work hard, overcome them, and then we will be able to reach to a much more positive ending. So, my friends, I would like to invite you now just to relax a little bit. We are going to do our initial prayer, and then I will introduce our speaker of today. God, our Mother and Father, thank you so much for being here with us today again. We ask for your blessings, for your positive energy, your inspiration, so we can understand the lecture, we can feel it in our hearts, and most of all, we can put it in practice. We also ask for this positive energy and this inspiration to be put at our speaker of today so she can feel inspired, she can remember her studies, and she will be able to do the best, helping us to understand it. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good, my friends. So, our speaker of today, her name is Rejane Planner. So she will talk about the hopes and consolations. So important, always, always, not just during the pandemic time, but in every moment of our lives. So I will talk just a little bit about her. So she's an electrical engineer. She has a specialization in nuclear energy. She lives in Austria, but she right now she's on vacation in Brazil. So she's also the co-founder and vice president of Associação de Estudos Espíritas Allan Kardec in Vienna, Austria. And they have a name that's in another language, and I can't speak that name. But it's a pleasure to have Rejane with us. So welcome, Rejane. How are you?
Hi, Angie. Good morning to you and everyone in Miami, US, and who else is listening to us. Thank you for the opportunity to share something on our beliefs, on our studies with you.
Yes, thank you
And
so much. Thank you so much. I'm curious, how do you say the name of the center in
is
German?
Verein für Spiritistische Studien Allan Kardec
Wow.
means what you said. Yeah.
Wow, that's a tough language. That's a tough language.
Truly, it is much easier to
Yeah.
speak in English.
Wow, my goodness. But my friends, if you are here with us already, remember, stay until the end because we will have like 15 minutes for questions and answers, and it would be
Perfect.
wonderful to see your comments and your questions, and Rejane will be able to answer. So, Rejane, thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Before, I want also to congratulate the Conscious Living Society for the 15th anniversary. Keep going. Don't lose the track
Yes,
from Kardec, especially. And I
yes,
hope this group, you call yourself group, but it's a lot of people I've seen that the group keep together in harmony and
yes. So
with
important.
in union.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are happy to have you here with us too. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I will
Then
be in the background if you need anything. Thank you.
good. What will um, talk or share with you is our studies and our views based on Kardec's views on hopes and consolations. Hopes and consolation is also the subject of the last chapter of the Book of the Spirits. It closes the book and remember us that we human beings carry within the strength to conquer life challenges. Kardec, I think it's not by chance that Kardec left the hopes and consolations to the end of the book, because hope helps us to wait for the storm to go away, the pain to lessen, the suffering to fade, uh, and understand what is hope is and consolation, and what are our consolations is deeply within the Spiritism. I will try to go first talking about hope, then we'll talk a little bit about faith, and close the lecture with some talkings from our benefactor, our dear Joanna de Angelis, and from Kardec himself. Then what is hope? Hope is the faculty that instills courage and drives us through good, to do something good, to go to to take the best we have in ourselves and to act upon. Hope is also what keep us going when the circumstances conspire against our realization, our superior realizations, like Joanna de Angelis say. And when we face a disturbing and afflicting situation, it is hope that gives us the enthusiasm and the strength to go on to the end. If not, we would stop. Life, and I apologize, here where I am, is cold. You will not believe how much it's cold for Rio de Janeiro. And it's raining almost for 10 days. That is why I have this problem with the throat. No COVID. Don't think about that. Life confront us with the diverse challenges or the difficulties that help us to build strength, to stop running from one task to the other, and to reflect upon what life is directing us, or what life is telling us. Many times we are just running from one task to the other. We don't stop. Also in this pandemic years, 2 years now, when we are, most of us were tied at home, we closed in our homes, working, children, a life mixed with family and work life together, and also our ideas and religious beliefs together. All the life is in a closed place is not so easy. And it's hope that has given us the strength to go on. Because deep we know that everything goes and passes, and life one day starts and one day finish, like the sun. The day starts in the morning, and the light fades in the evening. Night comes, but there are some stars that light our views on the skies, and that promise that next day the sun will be there, or the rain. Even the rain is give us hope, because the rain bring us the nature back, the green of the nature, the bloom, the flowers, and revigorates everything. That means when we face difficult situations, also in the family, when we get badly sick, or when someone is sick, when an accident happens and change the course of our life, or when terrorism is closer to us, or during this pandemic, when our routine turned life upside down, some people cry, some people become very sad, some people get even depressed, and others desperate. Those that get desperate, that get deeply depressed, they may lose hope, and they forget faith. On the contrary, other people keep going. They trust, because they know that everything renovates, everything passes. They trust that times will change because they know deeply that life has a purpose. And I think this is the main difference. Those people who keep going, who trust, who know that life has a purpose, they also know that nature works in cycles. And as I said before, the storm, after the storm comes the sun and good times. Those have faith. Then we have to ask ourselves, what is faith? Joana de Angelis, our dear benefactor and spiritual guide, says that hope is a twin sister of faith. In fact, hope, faith, and charity are known as the three theological virtues that direct the soul to God through Christ. Also, in the medieval times, education was much through those three virtues. However, more than 1 century ago, some 150 years ago, a famous British philosopher and poet, and also a Scottish minister named Thomas Hardy, said the modern man lost the address of God. Others have said that too. But Thomas Hardy lived almost at the same time as Kardec. He had been brought up as a Christian, but very soon, in the age of 27, he had lost his faith. Mainly, as his biograph said, under the influence of Darwin, The Origin of Species. They say that he never regained faith again. For Thomas Hardy, Darwin's work undermined the prevailing concept of the divine creation of man. That he couldn't understand. You see that for us, Darwin has another interpretation. He gives us the evolution of the species and also the evolution of man in another sense. As Hardy put it later, he said something, I think, very hard. He said, I have been looking for God for 50 years and think that if he had existed, I should have discovered him. Why he didn't discover God? Why his faith faded so much? Why he lost faith, I have asked myself. And why he had also lost hope. Hardy concluded that also that in his writings, he had concluded that religion had become so institutionalized and lost its original value, which was based on compassion. At the same time, then Hardy believed that the church was an important social institution. It's quite a paradox. In fact, people like Thomas Hardy, couldn't reconcile the idea of an omnipotent and merciful deity, God, with the human sufferings that they have seen and they see daily everywhere. Therefore, they lose faith. Then, to talk about hope, we need to talk about faith. Faith can be understood as trust in something, and it can be understood in a religious sense, the belief in a higher power or in God. Faith related to the anthropomorphic concept of God, that means the God that is seen as a human being, still persists today. And it turns in a almost, or it turns the individual not to believe in God if he has some reasoning, and or it turns in a blind faith. This blind faith continues exciting the immature minds who still negotiate with God to achieve their emotional or material pleasures and goals. That means people think, yeah, if I get a new position in my job, I will pray or they pray for God to get a new position in the job, and then I'll light a candle, or I'll give something to God. Then they take actions in the name of a divine faith, but they don't understand what God is, nor the spiritual reality of life. This was this is why in the Middle Ages people would buy his chair in to go in God's kingdom. No way to go to buy a chair in God's kingdom. But they did believe in like that. They didn't rationalize their belief. By that, the person became biased, fanatical, and almost internalizes a faith of the absurd, which could lead and has led to extreme actions in the name of a God that is not understood, but is accepted without any questioning. It's a blind faith that is exacerbated by our social and economic and cultural problems. And I will not mention religion here, but this has driven, for instance, the persecution of Christians, the religious wars in the past, the Inquisition, the persecution of Jews, and the current terrorism are some few examples of such scars in the human faith. But Kardec, in the Gospel According to Spiritism, written in 1866, linked the faith with humility, knowledge, and trust in God. Quite different. By recognize our teeny position in the greatness of creation, we respectfully identify ourselves as an element of this creation. That means the creator or the individual perceives that everything moves in the universe according to divine laws, and finally starts trying to follow those laws. This is the evolution of the soul, the knowledge of the soul. As Kardec said, and I will quote his words, true faith is linked to humility, and those who have it deposit more confidence in God than in themselves, as they know they are but simple instrument of divine purpose and can do nothing without God. This is a different kind of faith. This is a faith that gives hope, not by putting in God's name all our desires, all our wishes, but by trusting that in this universe of harmony, there are laws that direct us all, that drives our lives, not only our lives as human beings, but everything in the universe. And the most important law is love. Charity, faith, hope come all from the same baseline, love. Then many people do not understand that life is much more than this period that we are living now in Earth. And moreover, they do not understand that the changes and problems or challenges of life have two different sources. Some have their cause in the present life, others in a past life. If you don't believe in a past life, if you don't understand that we have lived before and will live after that, we are somehow lost in this world, and we don't understand why there is so much suffering, why there are so much discrepancies and difference in our actual society. And those are not my words, but Kardec's words in chapter 5 of the Gospel according to the Spiritism, when he analyzed the causes of afflictions. Kardec's reasoning is marvelous. He reflects upon what is God, and he understands the absolutely love and justice what comes from God. That God cannot impose or inflict any suffering or any bad actions on anyone, because God is infinite good. In this sense, if there are afflictions, if there are suffering in the world, it's because something went against the divine law. So by understanding that what God is and analyzing the cause of our afflictions, we'll come to understand that we are responsible for any actions and any thought we have, because thought make our actions. Thought is the first, then come the actions, and then come what we do. Therefore, Spiritism brings another view of the world. These spiritual beings who have manifested throughout the centuries, they have testified that life goes on after that of the physical body. They have also shared with us their experience and their knowledge, so that we do not have any reason to fear neither death nor the difficult time or suffering due to this pandemic or to any other event such an illness, because everything goes and any suffering has an end and a purpose. Have you already thought how much we learn when we have uh, a difficulty event, or when we are facing challenge, a big challenge in our life? We have to stop and think how to deal with that. And by stop and think how to deal with that, we are learning. We cannot go and cry or jump because of we have something difficult to face and to solve. We need to stop and solve it, and or try to solve it. And if you cannot solve, you have to wait. And we need to we have the hope, or we hope that the situation will end and we will be able to deal better with that. I mean, hope is a deep feeling that comes from our faith, that ultimately we are the owners of our destiny, meaning that we are also responsible for the emotional state we get in. We always can choose to stay calm, be patient, and wait, hope, while working. And you see, this is a different kind of faith and hope. While we work for our well-being, because if we just wait and stop, we are not doing anything. This is why we say that the faith has to be active, and hope is also active, because we wait, we hope for good times to come, but at the same time we are doing something to build this time that will come, or to easier the pain and the suffer that we are going through. And we don't, in this way, we don't let envy, we don't let hate, we don't have let any negative emotion to take over us. When I talk about that, I always remember the seminars from Divaldo Franco, because in those seminars, Divaldo, of course, inspired by Joana de Angelis and all other spiritual guides, he used to say to us, when you have a disturbance thought, or something that is bothering you too much, try to calm down. Try to bring in your mind a picture of something that makes you happy, that brings joy, that brought joy in your life in the past, and that you can remember as an emotion, as a good emotion, as a good feeling, and then replace the bad thought for a good thought. It's easy, exercise to do it. In question 941 of the Spirit's book, when talking about the fear of that is another deep fear, deep emotion in the human, for the human beings. The Spirits answer by saying that faith gives certainty about the future, while hope leads us to look forward to a better life. I read you what Kardec says in the answer to Kardec's question only. I will not read the full. The Spirit say, but that does not make the righteous afraid, for faith gives them certainty about the future. Hope leads them to look forward to a better life, and the law of charity which they practice gives them the assurance that in the world to come they will not find anyone into whose eyes they will fear looking. That means when we have faith and hope, we'll pursue the way of good. We'll try to live with good ethics and the moral, like the gospel, like Christ, like Jesus has taught us. Joana de Angelis says in one of the first books of her psychological series, the Homem Integral in Portuguese, or I don't know if this has been already translated to English, but I will translate as the integral being. She says like that: when circumstances conspire against superior realizations, disturbing and afflicting, hope reinvigorates enthusiasm and breathes the necessary strength to go on to the end. That means hope gives us energy. Hope gives us more enthusiasm to go on, to fight, to leave the difficult situation and take everything we can learn from that. And she continues saying like that: in God we find the strength and we clothe ourselves with to revitalize the postulates on which we stand. That means in God embraces us. God gives us the strength that we need, not to lose hope, not to lose faith. And she continues, under his auspices, the calamity is modified, and progress rises from the debris or the trash, this scabby soil, under his cordial and persevering assistance, is converted into a guard, a nice guard. Illness under his guidance provides healing empathy, giving rise to health. Hurting defeat in the face of his constance resurfaces. Not sure if I translated well, I apologize. I tried to translate with my own words. But what she says is that when we are trying to do something good, something that is with the ideal of good, something that is in our, say, mission to do it, that we know that it will be a good contribution to society, to our life, to the life of our family altogether, we may be confronted with challenges that we have to overcome. And it's hope that gives us the enthusiasm to go through. And it's faith who gives us the strength to go on. In the chapter 6 of the Gospel according to the Spiritism, we read that all types of suffering, misery, disappointment, physical pain, loss of loved ones, find their consolation in faith in the future and in trust in God's justice, which Christ came to teach humankind. On the other hand, upon those who expect nothing after this life, or who simply doubt, afflictions bear down with all their weight, and no hope comes to soften their bitterness. This is what led Jesus to say, "Come unto me, all you who are weary, and I will comfort you." I think here it summarizes quite well what is our hopes and consolations. Through Christ, through Jesus' teachings, we have the consolation, and the as He promised, the Consolator. It is to know that we have lived before, we are living today, we will live tomorrow. Another consolation is that is through responsibility, because if we know that our afflictions today are consequence of what we have done in the past, we will try today to do better, that the future will bring us more harmony, more joy, more happiness, and we will evolve further. In the same book, that means in the Gospel according to the Spirit, in chapter 19, we find a beautiful message from the protector spirit named Joseph. He wrote that in Bordeaux in 1862. And the title of the message is Faith, the Mother of Hope and Charity. And he says that faith may be active. That means we have faith, but we need to act to pursue our objectives, as I have started this talking with. He also states that hope and charity are consequence of faith. It seems very clear, because if we do not have faith, what are we going to hope for? He also highlights that faith, the divine inspiration from God, awakens all the noble instincts that lead humans toward the good. That faith is contagious, and quoting his words, and I read again, it is there for you to read also afterwards, chapter 19 of the Gospel according to the Spiritism. It says, "Therefore, have faith in all that it contains of beauty and goodness, in its purity and in its reasoning. Do not accept faith that cannot be substantiated, the blind daughter of blindness. Love God, but know why you do. Believe in his promises, but know why you believe in them. Follow our counsels," I mean the counsels of the Spirit, "but be aware of the objective we show you and the means we provide you for you to reach it. Believe and hope without losing heart. Miracles are the deed of faith." I think though this paragraph, this sentence, written by Joseph, or Joseph, we say in German, resumes everything I could have said to you. But I remember that also there is a story I have heard Divaldo tells in many seminars, and it I kept in my mind as a kind of example to follow. It's about faith and it's about hope. It's a man who fell while climbing a mountain. I suppose it was in a very cold region like the Andes or in Europe. It was dark, it was very cold, and he could not see where he was. He just held the rope and thought to wait till the day dawns. He was very religious, though, and so he started praying to God to save him. He prayed with so much strength. He prayed with all his heart, and then he heard a voice. who told him, let go the rope. He let go the rope. He prayed again and again, and the voice kept coming and say, loose, don't hold this rope. Let go, son, let go. But he could not believe that God would help him, would tell him to let go, because he would drop and he would fall and he would surely die. And then he kept holding that rope and pray. And time passed, and probably he slept. And the next day, when the rescue team arrived, found him dead, hanging 2 meters from the soil. They could not understand why he died. Sometimes God tells us what to do, and you don't listen to him. The Spirit's guide inspire us the path to follow, but we don't listen to them. We listen to our desires. We lose hope. Sometimes even we lose faith, but we should not. I think Divaldo told us the story to keep faith, to keep an active faith. That means trusting God and do whatever you come to overcome life challenges. And to finish, in the last book of Divaldo Franco, just issued this month, it calls A Vida Plena, probably full life. I don't know how it will be the title in English. She says, in any circumstance, light the candle of hope in your mind, the joy of God's love in your heart, and wait. Everything will go away and sun will shine again. I think this is what I had to share with you. I'm 3 minutes delayed from what you asked me to, 40 minutes, 43 minutes, I think, around that. If you want to share something with me, I would be delighted. I'm here for your questions.
Very good. Thank you so much, Rejane. Very beautiful. So, my friends, if you're here with us now, if you have any questions, any comments, please do so Rejane can continue answering. We have a few more minutes to explore this side. But Rejane, the topic, it's while we wait for our friends, we can continue our conversation. So this topic is very important because, we are still living throughout the pandemic, even if in certain areas it's much, much better. Vaccination, it's almost everywhere. But people are choosing not to be vaccinated. But we see that the things are getting better. However, there are people that are still in a bad shape, not even physically, but spiritually. They were affected because of many reasons. They lost loved ones or a job or whatever. So, what do you think would be a good way to start building up their faith, their hope? How can they start this process? Because we know it's a process. You can't be like really bad today and tomorrow you're wonderful. You have to do lots of things. So what would you say we can start to improve this negative feelings?
I kept that. It was my last, I've planned to talk about that at the end. And then I said, no, let's use the words of Joanna. But Joanna de Angelis also has written in another book called, I think it's Spirit and Life, Espírito e Vida, is the name of the book in Portuguese. She says like that: go deep in the study of spiritism, study and practice of spiritism. In this way, you will get the knowledge to identify the causes of current suffering and will be able to adjust moral behavior and build a slide of light where you can walk towards complete freedom. I think we all look to be to be happy, to have joy in our lives. And when we face those challenges, for instance, when you have someone ill in the family, uh, now with COVID, but it could be cancer, it could be something else that is so, there are so many illness in this world. It's not easy because you see someone suffering or you are suffering yourself and you don't see the end. And if you see life only as this life, is difficult to understand. But when you see life uh, as something bigger, when you understand that we are spirit, that we are souls that evolve continuously, and that after this life we'll go to the spiritual life where we rejoin with those friends that uh, passed away now during the pandemic, and that will rejoin with our spiritual guides. We'll continue learning. We'll have other opportunities. I think this is what gives us faith. I mean, faith is something that you build over the centuries. No one can build faith in life. Maybe we lose faith in some moments, and you see uh, the very well-known saints of the Catholic Church have also somehow, in some period of their life, lost faith. It's what they are called the dark side of the soul of Saint John of the Cross. Shown, it's Saint John of the Cross is one of the saints in Spain, Spanish saints, and he go deeply in himself, and sometimes he asks himself, "What am I doing here? What is this life?" And this was these deep questions that we have. He called the dark side of the soul. But sometimes we need to go through that to build our faith and to have hope. But for me, as I'm very rational, faith has to be rational too. And when you look in this world and you see that everything is part of this kingdom of God, and that there are laws that guide us, that that we need to follow. If not, will disturb the whole universe. This way, you build, or I think one can build faith, like Joanna says. No? For us, it's through spiritism. What is spiritism? Is know that we are immortal. Is know that life continues from yesterday to today and tomorrow. Is know that we can communicate with disease. Is know that Jesus left us teachings that are good for us to follow, the ethical and moral laws of the universe, and only by following those laws we bring harmony in this world. Means also
Yes,
create a better world is
my
related to
question
faith.
connects very much with the question of Susanna. So Susanna is saying, even us spiritists at times have a difficult time seeing the light. What do you recommend can be done at these low moments?
Look, I'm not in position to recommend anything, but Joana de Angelis did recommend. And Joana de Angelis, our spiritual guide and benefactor, one of them, and that has guided so many souls in the last 60, 70 years through Divaldo Franco, she says that when you have a disturbing thought or you are in despair, just calm down your mind, meditate, pray, try to calm down your mind through prayer, through meditation, and try, when you calm down, if you cannot pray, and sometimes we cannot pray, we are not in this frequency that to to bring our state of mind in a prayer state. Then try to bring the image of something that brought you joy in the past. For instance, for us mothers, we had the biggest joy of having a child in our arms. Or if you are in love, sometimes bring this image of love moment that you share with someone and bring the feeling of joy back. When you bring the feeling of joy, you change your state of mind. You change the frequency of your thought. And then you start praying, if you can. But prayer is one of the most powerful tools that we have. Prayer and meditation. And if you cannot pray, if you cannot meditate, take a good book. Take a good book and go and read a good book with not junk. Or put in your environment. And this I have a good experience to share you now. Some good songs. We these last 3 months that I've been here in Brazil, my mother was quite sick. She had a vascular accident, cerebral vascular accident. And of course, we were very worried with her. It's a difficult period for all of us. She now is quite well. She recover. But I tell you, one of the advices we got from a neurologist, spiritist neurologist who was treating her, it was, please bring a song, very calm song in the background the whole day. And we start doing that. We went to the YouTube, got some spiritist instrumental songs, and we kept very, very low. It's incredible how it changed the whole environment and how we ourselves and all the notions that we're treating here calm down, and everything went smoothly, much smoothly than it was. I mean, there are several tools that we can use. Instrumental songs, spiritist instrumental songs, prayer, meditation, replacing, bringing images in your mind. All
Yes,
of that Joanna
definitely.
has told us.
Yes, definitely. And also depends of what every person is feeling, because we are all different. But definitely the meditation and the prayer is the way to begin. Emmanuel, through the mediumship of Chico Xavier, also tells us that meditation is like you are listening to God talking to you. That's when you calm down and you actually open up your mind to listen. And when we pray, it's like we are expressing our feelings towards God. We are talking to God. Usually we ask a lot. We should always be thankful for so much, but we are always asking more, more, and more. But that's the way to help us to bring our energy from here to like here. This helps us so much. And we are spiritists, so what help us so much too is to be able to listen to beautiful lectures, to be able, if the centers wherever the person is located are open, the person can go there to listen to a lecture or to request for a fraternal counseling, or of course receiving the energy healing from the passes helps so much. But depending on the level, if the person is really, really down, for example, if the person is in very bad depression, yes, the person also needs a medical help, because spiritism helps together with science. So if the physical body needs help, then the physical doctor helps, and the spiritism helps the spiritual healing part of it. So it's really beautiful to give us this idea. As you mentioned before, we know we are eternal spirits. This is one life of thousands of millions. But of course, as you also said, whenever something happens, it's very painful, it's very difficult. And the people that say, oh, you spiritist, a person die, you're all happy. It's not true. It's not true. We believe in life after death, of course, but we also have feelings. So it's very painful. And it's normal for us to cry when someone we love die. But what is not normal is to be hysterical, and especially in long term. So in long term, we heal, we feel a little bit better, and then we are able to return to our senses. But very, very powerful, very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything else you would like to bring us?
Sorry, I didn't hear you now.
Anything else you would like to
Yeah,
bring
I think
us?
the message of the spiritist doctrine is what leads, what guides us in life. No, how you said we are immortal beings, and we will live forever. And when someone passes on, that means when someone dies, sure we suffer, but we don't despair.
Mhm.
We this is what one of our consolations is, what we believe and where our faith stands. What
Yes.
I would like also to thank you and everyone, Andrea, Marcelo, uh, and everyone of the Conscious Living Society for the invitation and for giving me the opportunity to share my beliefs. That is our beliefs with you. Thank you very much, and hope the society will live more 100 years. Not kidding.
Yes. Yes, you're a little baby, only 15.
Yeah,
In
we are a
Brazil, we are
teenager.
center celebrating hundreds of years. We will reach there. We will reach there. How by curiosity, how old is the center that you are vice president?
We are a little bit older. We are getting mature. Our center has 30 years.
30
It
years?
starts it, officially. It started in 1988 with 89, I think. 88. 88, 89. Now I don't remember. Well, it started with Josef Jakula. He's a Czech who lives in Vienna, who is our president. At that time, when it was the first visit of Divaldo Franco to Vienna, and then Raul Teixeira, Professor Raul Teixeira, used to go every year to visit us. I mean, the two were our supporters.
Yeah.
And in '94, then we founded officially in the town of Vienna, the municipality, the center. It's quite old.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations. This is wonderful. Very,
Exactly.
very good.
Yeah, we are paving the way for the young now to take over.
Yes,
We hope.
that's excellent. That's excellent. Wow, this is inspiration for all the other places that I still didn't open a place. You can always start. And that's very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Very good. And
Unfortunately, we are closed now because of the
yes,
pandemic. But
yes,
we are operating through the internet, and
yes.
in summer we open, and we hope that we will open again.
Yes. That's another blessing. Thank God for internet.
But
So
nothing
we can
stopped.
continue
Yeah,
the activities. This is really,
yeah.
really good.
And for our only to close for our Susana Simões, I think is her name, who asked how to deal with difficult times. Never forget that we can pray in different forms. You don't need to sit down and pray. You can go for a walk and pray. You can look at the sky and pray. Like Anjit said, when you look to the sky, when you look to the nature, and we deeply thank God for what we have, we are
Yeah.
praying. Pray has, Praying has different forms. And whatever is your thought, is your feeling, your deep feeling, when you express that in direction of God, you are praying and you
Yeah.
receive it back. Bye.
Very good. Beautiful, beautiful ending. Beautiful ending. Thank you so much, Rejane. It was
Thank you.
a pleasure to have you with us. And I talk to you in a few minutes. I will
Bye.
finalize now with our prayer. Thank you so much. So, my friends, beautiful lecture about hopes and consolations. We really need it deeply. Soon, the whole planet will be better. So, at this time, I would like to invite you just to close your eyes and we are going to do our final prayer. Dear God, our Master Jesus, our guardian angels, thank you so much for the blessings received, for the beautiful words that penetrated our minds, but also our physical body, helping us all to vibrate a little bit higher, to feel a little bit happier, and to understand that we all have to face adversities, but we will have strength to overcome it even if maybe not super quickly, but we will overcome it and the better times will arrive. Thank you so much for being with us throughout these very difficult times of COVID. Thank you for always giving us extra hope so we can always see the light at the end of the tunnel. And thank you, Conscious Living, for this 15 years that is here, helping all of us to continue practicing and studying this beautiful philosophy that's the Spiritism. Thank you all. So be it. So, my friends, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here. Happy Sunday and happy Halloween. I hope you have kids to go trick or treat. It's a very fun holiday. See you soon and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye bye.